All right, how's everybody doing?
Good.
All right. Nice job. I'll tell you what, everybody made it out despite the rain. I appreciate it. So from what I understand, it was a little bit bad out there, huh? Yes? No? Maybe traffic sucked?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do really appreciate it. This is actually the 5th one of these that we have done in the span of 2 months, which is kind of an insane pace, but I don't know, somehow it's all come together. I'm actually going to yield the floor for a brief moment so that Anna can tell you a little bit about Parasoma, which is where we are, and then I will be right back. Thank you. Well, we really do appreciate being able to use the space here. I mean, let me ask you this way: who was here when we did this? Well, not here, but who was with us when we were doing this at my apartment? Show of hands. Anyway, 1, 2. I know there's a third. All right. So, as you may remember from then, it was kind of insane being in like a little, room this size. And I told this story last time, but I'll briefly repeat it. Like, my neighbors, a couple of them were like, what is going on here? I'm like, we're starting companies. This is what we do in San Francisco. And they're like, yeah, this is a little weird. I was like, well, it's all in good fun. We're not harming anything or anything like that. They gave me a little bit of grief, but it was all fine. This is a much better setup, and I'm really glad that everybody could make it here. I'm going to run through a couple announcements, and then we are going to kick this thing off, no pun intended. First of all, as I said, this is the 5th event we've done. We started this on September 14th, so not all that long ago, and we've been doing them about every 2 weeks. So pretty aggressive pace so far, and we're definitely hoping to continue that. We probably will slow down a little bit just over the next one is actually the week of Thanksgiving, so I'm assuming that not very many people are going to want to come to that. And then as we get into December, everybody knows that kind of gets crazy with all sorts of holiday plans and this and that. So probably will not do a ton of them during that month, so kind of stay tuned on that. If you can believe this, we now have more than 200 people in the meetup group, which is, I think, a pretty big deal in the time span that we've already been doing this. We're approaching 300 people on the email list, which is also a pretty good number considering this hasn't really been going that long, and even the email list has been in place for a shorter period of time than actually the meetup group has. So I announced this last time that we had expanded IdeaKick beyond just San Francisco, but I think it's worth repeating. Right now, we actually need to give a big round of applause because up in Seattle, there is a group of about 20 people that are also doing their very first IdeaKick. So a big round of applause from Seattle. So Justin and his crew are doing that one up there, and Justin was actually an attendee at the second one of these we did, and came up to me afterwards and said, hey Charlie, this is pretty cool, like, really like the idea, I wonder if you've ever thought about doing it in Seattle. Well, hey, I have now. What do you think? Like, so we traded a few emails, got to thinking about it, and he recruited a bunch of people, got them interested, and it went from that to them now doing an event right this very moment. So, in addition to Seattle, we also now have New York. New York's first event is going to be December 2nd, and Annika, who is running that one, was actually an attendee here 2 weeks ago for the very first time, and went from being an attendee to scheduling and organizing an event within 8 days. So I don't know how she possibly pulled this off, but she did, and it's pretty remarkable. And I think it just goes to show you that if this is something you're interested in doing, the barriers to actually going and doing it are not that high. So it certainly is my goal that we can continue to expand this to some other cities and really be able to give other people that don't have the benefit of living in San Francisco and Silicon Valley the opportunity to participate in this kind of thing. And some of the next ones that we're hoping to get going are either DC, Vancouver, and or Denver. Those are all sort of in various stages of development, so if you are either interested in any of those cities, know people who are, definitely shoot me an email or something like that, and we can talk further on that. With all of that, our team has actually gotten a lot larger even since the last time. We now are, I think, up to 10 people. It's gone so fast I'm not even totally sure, but I think it's 10. So big, I really do appreciate all the work that Dana, Matt, Barb, Rachel, and Tuan have done to really help us, kind of codify exactly what it is we're doing here and help us, Nicole and I, with the overall vision and kind of how we can expand it and make it a really big thing. So, big round of applause for them. Thank you so much for your I'll just touch on real briefly, just so that everybody's aware. when I first started this thing, again, it was out of my apartment, and it was with pretty humble beginnings, and really, I would say, humble hopes for what it might ever become. I would say at a basic point, I was just looking to kind of meet some people, have some fun, and drink a few beers, and I kind of do that anyway. So I figured, why not have it be to an entrepreneur pursuit. And from there, it has actually, people have just gotten really enthusiastic about it, and I would love to tell you that that's been intentional. It was anything but. It was just sort of coincidental at best. And the fact that the people have has really been a great thing. So really, the way I've tried to portray it in each case is, we have this sort of, I'll call it a macro goal, but it's sort of it's something that has evolved. Again, it didn't really start out this way on day one, but the way we're thinking about it is, we really want to provide a forum where people can come to express an idea that they are interested in. Again, this could be an idea that you've thought about for 3 months and have had no one talk to about it, or it could be something that you've thought about for 3 minutes and you're totally up your wing. All of that is fine. That's, to me, having that place to really go and talk to people about what you're thinking about and what you're passionate about is a really big and important thing. And it's kind of an obvious thing, but it's like, I at least had not been able to find it here, and I looked pretty hard, and at a certain point I was like, well, maybe if we just start to think, somebody would be like, hey Trevor, you heard of this thing, and then I will have found it. Well, that hasn't happened yet, so I'm hoping that we can, that this forum can really be that place where people have an opportunity to talk about what they're passionate about, and hopefully get other people that are interested in those same things, or maybe know somebody else who is, and all that kind of stuff, get some good feedback, and really be able to take their idea and actually turn it into something. So that's really the, I think in a large sense, why we're here. I'd like to thank our sponsors just briefly. If you have consumed a Trimmer Pills on the night, definitely need to give a big round of applause to Trimmer Pills. They have been absolutely fantastic sponsor for all but the very first one of these things. And again, at first when we started doing this, I don't think they, or even really we, knew what it was going to be, but certainly they were willing to kind of take that chance on us when we really, we're a very small group, again, operating out of my apartment. And I think it's been really great for us, the fact that we've been able to do that. So really do appreciate them helping us out. Also, pretzel crisps. I realized those were a little tough to open. Apparently, that's kind of a recurring theme. I don't know if we've all been struggling with that. I heard a few people were. So, anyway. We have a workshop. Yeah, it's like how many entrepreneurs does it take to open a bag of pretzel crisps? Apparently a few. Anyway, Jeff apparently knows how to do it. If you need help, he thankfully just demonstrated it. Awesome. And last but certainly not least, I thought I'd throw in here my company, Impact.org. If you are in need of either social media, marketing, any type of strategy and IT consulting type of services, that's the umbrella of services that we provide. We work mostly with small businesses, but we will consider others as well. But if that's the type of thing that services that you could benefit from, or your company could, definitely talk to me about that. And I think that does it for the announcements. So, without further ado, let me just touch on the format here and tell you exactly how this is going to work. Alright, we have 2 rooms here. There's this one here, and I'm standing in front of that camera, and there's another one actually if you go right back here and to the left. It has an identical camera and identical chairs. It's a little bit smaller, but more or less, it's actually even more intimate. And what we're going to do is in 2 rooms here, we're actually going to basically have 2 idea kicks going on at the same time. So, the way this works is you get to stand right here, or in that room right over there, and you have 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, you get to tell us whatever it is your idea is, whatever it is you are passionate about. And you can either do this in one of 3 forms. You can either tell us about a specific idea that you have, that you may have been thinking about, you may be, again, totally winging it, making it up on the spot, all that's fine. You can tell us about a problem that you've experienced, where you don't necessarily have an idea, but you just be like, you know what, this thing that I've experienced that kind of sucks, and throw it out there to the crowd and see if anybody else has a solution. Alternatively, you can tell us about a trend that you've identified. Something you've read about, something you've kind of heard about, any of those types of things, all fine. It really doesn't matter. All you really have to do is say enough to get the conversation started. That's really the main point. And for however much time of the 10 minutes is left, that's when we get to kick the idea around and discuss it, debate it, talk about it, all that kind of stuff, and really see what people think about it. So really what we're hoping that happens out of this is that people get a lot of great feedback on their idea. And again, if there's one cardinal rule in here, it's this. In this room or in that room, there's no such thing as a bad idea. So, you know, the person standing up here telling you their vision of the world, there is no booing them, there is no throwing beer bottles or pretzel crisps at them, there is no, you know, storming out in anger because you didn't like what they had to say, none of that. You know, be respectful of everybody that's here so that we're all, you know, respectful of you, and that's really the ethos of this place and of Idea Kick in general. So that's basically the way it works. 10 minutes, we will have a timer going, so at the end of that, when the alarm goes off, be making your final thought and be finishing up. And that is basically it. Also, no need to raise your hand on anything like this. I mean, granted, we're not in my living room anymore, but you know, for all intents and purposes, just treat it like it is. This is a conversation among friends. This isn't like a Q&A. It's more like as I say on our meetup page, a kind of happy hour meets intelligent conversation. So really, that's kind of how we're trying to make it. So don't worry about kind of, oh, hey, I have a question. No, none of that. Just start talking. That's all fine. And actually, this is a new thing for this time. What we're going to do at the very end of this is, if you have something you want to just throw out there, an announcement of any type, maybe you have started a company, maybe you have, you know, you're looking for a job, you have a new product you want to tell people about, we're going to do a quick little announcements part, and we're actually going to also post those videos from the announcements part as well. And I'm totally shamelessly stealing this from SF New Tech. I don't care. Miles, sorry, I like the idea, so we're doing it here. Anyway, that's about it for the announcements. And actually, there's one other thing. There's only one other rule about this. You cannot talk about your company. This has to be an idea. Now, we had one, and we've done this a couple times, where if you have a new idea related to a company, that's okay. But this is not the forum for, you know, broadcasting about how great your company is and all that sort of stuff. If that's what you want to do, there's actually a plethora of other events where you could do that. In fact, SF Beta is going on right now. That's actually the other rule, is, you know, make yourself, I'm just kidding, don't worry about it. So, you know, don't tell us about your company. It has to be a new idea. So that is about it, and with that, yeah, we have to do this sort of in a scientific way here, but we have to have 50% of this room actually go over there, and you're going to be with Nicole, who's going to be running that one. And I promise Nicole does not bite, and she will have just as intelligent commentary as everyone here, but half of you need to go there.
Should we
would love to have
side and go over there?
We could do it that way. That's actually not a bad idea.